You're where right now?
So currently, right now, I am in Stefano's Art Farm.
Art Farm.
We're up in the main recording studio, and
Nice.
in Art Farm, in the main recording studio. Of course, there is the production engineering room, which you can't see because it's on the other side of the glass. Behind me is the actual, studio with the sound booth. Downstairs are, I'm gonna say, 10 monthly, daily, weekly, yearly practice days that
Okay.
people can they can rent again daily, weekly, monthly, and a lot of them because the price, nowadays things are cheap. A lot of them sublet, so you've got 4 or 5 bands sharing one for a month. So at
Right.
any given moment, there's 2 or 3 or 5 bands in and out. So it's really a music collective in here, and it's awesome.
And it's needed.
Stefano,
Needed.
oh, totally needed. Stefano put this together 5 years ago, and it has been truly a gem to the Victoria local music scene. Um, I started doing my thing, Royalty Entertainment, just about a year and a half, not quite a year and a half ago. But I was not really booking bands. I was doing mostly my own emceeing, music on location, sound, and hosting and stuff like that. And then working and talking with a lot of the bands here, I met some old friends from my old days, my before time, and then uh, one of those people, and I stopped by to see a gig at the Phoenix. We'll talk about the Phoenix later. But I was introduced to Lucid Karma, and after a little bit of a while, they asked me to become part of the team.
Well,
And
you sure got the marketing part down on social media.
I can't take I mean, I've really learned a lot on my own, but when I first started doing this, Nikki Nightmare, she sat me down and gave me Facebook 101, social media 101. I really couldn't put a link into a text to save my ass. But you know what, with that grounding, and they make it easy. They really taught me what to do, what not to do, and then I learned on my own as well.
Dude,
So
you're a former NCI op. You know how to learn shit.
I am former military and CIF. You betcha I am.
We actually, disclaimer here, me and Royal actually surfed together and sailed together to I think I went on 2 sails with you, and one of them was to Prince Rupert with the one-legged stripper.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we took over the Blue Zoo.
You did.
Yeah, I did.
You booted
Well,
you booted the other guy right out of the booth.
Well, I mean, when I walked in, knowing there were 300 sailors going to walk into this one little strip bar, I had told the manager, I'm like, dude, you need to call in some more talent. Yes. You need to get on the stick because you got 300 sailors coming in here in about now.
Yeah.
And we pretty much took over. However, that place made a bucket load of money that weekend, and they were really good to us. So thank you.
I loved Rupert. Absolutely loved Rupert.
That was a good time.
Yep. So back to the music part. Anything big coming up?
Well, for Lucid or for Royalty Entertainment, both.
Both.
Well, Lucid is my backbone. They're my primary. So what's coming up for Lucid? What's coming up for Lucid Karma? We're doing what's called our summer run. You can call it a tour. We've got what happens is on June 12th take off, and we go to Kamloops, and we're playing the Blue Grotto, and it's kind of a tester for. We've got 3 bands: Nataka out of Kelowna, Auger out of Kamloops. They're the hometown boys, the favorites, and ourselves. All three of us are doing our own festivals on the route. So we are doing Alternative Waves. Nataka is going over to Loud as Hell, and Auger is doing Armstrong Metal Fest. So for those of the people in Kamloops who aren't able to go to a festival, they've got 3 festival bands right there on stage on the 12th at the Blue Grotto.
Right
so
on.
Then from there, we drive straight to Lethbridge, and we're playing at the Slice. They're gonna hate me for not remembering who's all on that board because I could go to my notes. But it's a really good. Alex Curry put together a very cool.
I will throw up the poster on the show too.
Please do
ship it to me.
We got Chernoff, we've got ourselves, Lucid Karma. There was a set change, so that's why I want to be careful of who I say is coming.
Right.
So, yeah, throw up a poster. Those who know, check it out on Facebook. It's at the Slice. It's on the 13th of June in Lethbridge, and then from Lethbridge we make our way to the Mainliner Pub, which is the home of Alternative Waves Festival 2024. Shout out to Keith O'Clant and Mason Latowski. Thank you very much for putting that together. It's got some great bands. Again, I'm not going to list them all, but check out the website for Alternative Waves, Calling All Captains Without Remorse, Our Last Crusade, Lucid Karma. Oh my God, there's like 30 bands in a day and a half, two different stages. We're going to be on the outside stage at approximately 8 o'clock on the Friday night. And then from there, we make our way to Edmonton for the 15th, and we're playing at the Rendezvous Pub, and we're playing with Doomsday Grin, Without Remorse, Lucid Karma, and what's the other one? The Last of Us. Thank you. I've got some cool producers over here.
Nice.
The Last of Us. And again, all of those people on that bill are part of other festivals, including Alternative Waves. So
nice.
it's really a great. These are going to be some great gigs for those who are in those cities. So get out and support live music. It's all for you guys.
I've been noticing that live music's been having quite the revival. Now, do you think that's probably because we were locked like animals in our houses during COVID?
Oh, 100%. And I wasn't part of it back in the COVID.
Right.
It didn't affect myself. But what I have seen or heard is hearing from people talking about what happened to some locations. Some venues have shut down because of it. I'm not too sure if we lost Logan's in Victoria because of it, or if they were shut down before, or right around the same time.
Yeah,
they're pretty close. So now that we're free and clear to navigate from COVID, we got 2 years now past it. I really agree with you that a lot more bands are coming up. And I've seen a lot of, in Victoria, a lot of revitalizing bands that haven't been doing anything for 5 or 6 years have now stepped up and have decided to get back into it. Distorted Influence is one of them.
Excellent. So, where was I going to go with my next question? Saying that, like metal never dies. Like metal never dies.
No.
It's branched out to a gazillion different genres. When you go online, sometimes there's some, you don't like this, you blah, 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 blah. I don't buy that stuff. I don't buy into saying a band is garbage on any level.
Well,
it's taste. It's whatever moves your soul and makes you feel good or angry or lets your frustrations out, whatever does it for you, you enjoy that band.
Well, I've always had a problem with just what you said, to go further on that point. When I hear somebody say, "Oh, I hate that," or "they suck," well, you know what? They don't suck. You just don't like them because saying they suck. Who are you? Who are you? The be all and end all of music critiques? You just might not like them. Like there's some of the metal out there, some of the harder, really hard black metal that I'm not preferential to it.
Right.
But I can totally hear and see the technical side of it and the talent that's involved. It doesn't give me goosebumps, and it's not that I'm going to be playing them all the time. But if somebody shows it to me, and I'll be like, not my thing. However, listen to those breakdowns. Listen to the drumming.
Like jazz, right? Like jazz.
Yeah, exactly. It may not be your thing, but you've got to give it to the talent.
How the hell did he just play that?
Right?
I was like, oh my God.
100%. You know, the one thing you were talking about metal never dies, or one of the things that it's changed as far as I've seen. I mean, back when I was a kid, back here in Victoria, 18, 19 years old, I used to go to the old Forge underneath the Strathcona Hotel, and that was back in the late 80s, and they were the bar circuit band. You know, a bar would call up and call the agency in Vancouver saying, "I need a band," and a band would come, and they were the band of the week. And this would, there's the circuit bands were all over the place for live music. And back in the day, when you'd be like, "Hey, let's go out to the Forge," you never heard somebody say who's playing. It didn't matter who was playing. You just went out, and there was the band. And if you liked them, you went back. And then you knew who they were, and you could follow them, but differently. Of course, you buy their $5 cassette, or because there was no Spotify, nothing like that.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I'm finding it in my first year of promoting, the difficulty now I'm seeing is it is definitely when who's playing is very much predominantly the issue. It's not, people want to go to the bar and there's a band. People will now go to the bar only for whoever's playing.
Yeah, and that makes it tough for the opening act sometimes, because some people will just go for that band and they're missing out on so much awesome entertainment. If you're going to go to a show, people go to the show.
See the whole thing. Stay the whole night.
The whole night.
But the thing is, people, they want to come out. I mean, they pay the money at the front. So some people say, "Well, so what? We got their money." No, because I've seen it enough in my shows and other shows where unless you have a really, really strong headliner that is the headliner, and then everything else, people are just coming. I don't always put together massive, like, big headliner shows. I put together a 3 or 4 band event, and somebody has to close. Does that mean that they're headliner? No, but somebody has to be last. You try to put your strongest up top, Also, I do more of an eclectic. I don't do all metalcore. I try to start with maybe some thrash here, some punk, some light stuff, and then gradually go up to the harder stuff. But that being said, we've had shows where, not we necessarily, Lucid Karma, where, the middle two fill the floor, and then in the 20 minutes it takes for the last band to get up on stage at 11 o'clock, half the people go home.
Right. It's like it's a lot different now, although I don't know how it is out here. You might find it different out here because I see a lot of metal shows going on.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to check out some of the bands because I put a little feeler out. And matter of fact, I'll probably get you some contacts and for shows that the promoters have.
No, that'd be great. I mean, we want to I'd like to make my way out there. I'll be booking shows for Lucid Karma. I won't do royalty entertainment booking in somebody else's turf. My world is Western Canada.
Exactly.
So if I book anything, it will be Lucid Karma.
Right, but here's the thing. You meet them, now they're going to want to come that way.
Oh.
And it's,
tit for tat, 100%.
Exactly. It's perfect.
100%. Well, the one thing too is as you were saying, a lot of bands have stood up. There's a lot. There's always something going on in Victoria.
That's good to hear.
Smaller venues and bigger venues. We've got the Wicked Hall, which is under Strathcona, the new Forge.
Okay.
That's where a lot of your middle of your mid-level, like Unleash the Archers, can be playing there May 25th. Juno Award winners, Unleash the Archers. That's a good touring room. We also have a room called the Capitol Ballroom, which used to be called Sugar or Wastelands. That's on Quadra and Yates. There again, a little bigger. Your local people, I won't book there because that's really expensive room. Those are for touring bands.
Right.
Logan's is gone. Another one just closed. Herman's Upstairs, beautiful venue, 200 people, closed. They closed.
Herman's closed?
Herman's Upstairs is gone now, man.
Wow.
Herman's Jazz downstairs is still going, but the upstairs gone. There's some Victoria City politics involved, which I don't really give a crap. So I mean, you got the bar called the Phoenix Bar and Grill. That's on Quadra by the old winery by the Keg. They've really stepped up. Jenny, Mike, love you. Really, you guys are the home of metal or of live music. You've also got other people. There's the Quadra House, there's Quadratic Sound. These are smaller venues. Rebel Moto, Rebel Inc. Those are small 50 people venues. Um, but there's more bands than there are venues. So
Always.
it's starting to. I'm not saying we're starting to step on each other, but it's harder to get people to come out every Friday all the time because there's
Right.
always something going on. So it's good. It's good competition, but there's also a lot of mouths, and of course, people don't have a lot of money nowadays.
Yeah, no
So
kidding.
we say support live music, and we really the $15, the $10 at the smaller, the $20 at the door.
The cost of living in Saskatchewan is choice, bro. This garage would cost you $1 million in Victoria.
Oh, at least.
And I am not shitting you.
You can't get a doghouse in Victoria for less.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You'd shit yourself if I
So
told you.
what are the music venues like in Saskatoon?
I have no idea. I've been setting up my studio and I've just been Facebooking it. I'm going to see Five Finger Death Punch of Marilyn Manson on August 24th. And I'm doing a rodeo.
You're doing a rodeo.
I'm doing the bulls. Where we got our seats are right above the gates.
Holy, okay.
No, I can't wait for that. So
That'd be pretty cool.
I'm just starting to learn about the scene because when I put my feeler out there, man, the band, and they're saying this is our show here. We got a show here. We got a show here. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. That metal's thriving. Like
metal, yeah, definitely metal is thriving.
and not the kids that like my younger than my kid, right? Are like listening to Sabbath and Metallica and Motorhead and then branching off to Venom and like the classic bands.
Yeah.
And then they go, yeah, but this is what today's about. And they bring their flavor to it. And it's, like I said, that Soul Song by Karma, dude, I absolutely love it.
It's one of my favorite tracks. Unbroken Stone is another one that's really good. It's not as hard.
It's so full. You know what I mean? It's like, it just, the production's just fantastic.
Well, and the thing on the production is it's all DIY.
Yeah.
It is all home done. Chris Heretic, the drummer, and Trusted Tragedy, our bassist, the GOAT.
Yeah.
And he's not just the GOAT by mass. He is the greatest of all Trusted. For real. He is the mad scientist, both, and Heretic as well. They take everybody's stems that they do at home, and then they all get sent, and then they work it back at their own place, and they engineer, and they lay the tracks, and they do the mastering. Everything you hear is all DIY.
Wow.
Everything.
Wow.
100%.
That's incredible.
It takes a while. Before I came aboard, they weren't gigging a lot.
Was that because of COVID? Like, is that what happened?
No. They came online about their first release was 2022. I don't want to say a date because I know I'll get it wrong, but it was late in 2022. Coward was released. I believe that was one of their first ones. But they were definitely doing a lot of home stuff. I saw that they did their first gig was in Nanaimo at a multi-genre. It was a different thing, and it was that was their first time on stage and their first thing, and it was a great show. I wasn't there; I wasn't part of them yet. Their second show, however, was the show that I met them, and they blew me away. And the weird thing is, I'll tell you the truth. I was never really, when I say into, not because I didn't like it, but I was never really introduced to this level of new metal or melodic core or this genre. I'm an old school guy from back in. I mean, I bought Number of the Beast when it came out. I bought Blizzard of Oz. I bought Peace of Mind.
Waited at the store at Sam the Record Man.
Right, or Lyle's place underneath the Ocean Theater.
I'm from Ontario, so for us it was Sam's, and it was right beside the arcade in the mall. And I remember the Appetite for Destruction release, I remember Quiet Riot's release, like, and you waited, and we picked them by the album cover sometimes.
Well, I mean, or the
Like,
album cover. I mean, one of the best album covers in my world, I gotta say, for readability, that was Power Slave Iron Maiden. Because
oh
you
God,
can sit and read that there's always something to find. And you know,
oh,
even when album covers went away, you know, I love the old school idea of liner notes because
yes,
you bought your CD and you bought your tape, you bought your album, you came home, you put it on, and while you were listening to it, you sat and you read the freaking album. You looked at the pictures,
yeah.
you opened the liner notes. I mean,
In the
nowadays,
liner notes, they'd always have something funny
yeah,
about something that happened on tour or
yeah, little
something.
factoids, yeah.
Yeah, little
You know,
factoids.
but again, you know, again, that's an old school point of view where somebody else of a different generation go, well, yeah, but now you can go online and check out their website and you can check out their stuff and there's all their YouTube stuff and so I mean it is a different us old guys I think have to get up on board of it a little bit and go liner notes are great, but there's also a whole lot more visual
Right.
now to be enjoying. I mean, the days of having to be a big name to really get a video out are done. You know, back
Right.
in the '80s, we'd come home, we'd turn on much music, and you'd listen,
Yes.
and it'd only be the big guys making videos because you know an actual handycam camcorder barely existed. You know, you couldn't make your own videos
No.
if you were a gigging band. Nobody had them. You just did and you couldn't make stuff at home. You had to go to a studio. There was no DIY. So I think nowadays the progression of music and being able to DIY has superseded the thing of you can't have liner notes and stuff like that. I mean that's such a small thing. But nowadays I think the being able to like our guys when they first were starting to drop for 8 months they would do a video and a song. January video song. February boom 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 boom. So somebody would have something to listen to and they could be interactive with their band right out of the get-go. I mean, you couldn't do that with any band you saw on some stage at a bar because they didn't have videos. They were a bar
No.
band. Now bar bands are so much bigger than they are as far as accessibility.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And if you're using it correctly, I mean, the
Oh, 100%.
internet's a great tool. It's also an evil twat.
Well, you know, there is a lot of people out there that are trying to do this pay to play. You know, hey, give us $50, we'll give you spins.
Yeah.
I am just kind of learning. So, those of you who are listening to what I'm going to say, I'm not going to say too much. All I know is some of the stuff I've been told, you know, it's not organic. They're out of their box, and it's not when you get these streaming numbers from
Yeah. Oh,
these pay services. They're not
oh,
real numbers. It's not what you want to get are your followers. I mean, your streams are great, but
yeah.
you want followers in there because those are the people who are actually listening.
You want your Swifties, dude.
You want your Swifties.
You want your Swifties. Like,
Yeah.
if you can say whatever you want about Taylor Swift, but number one, hell of a show. Number two, she knows how to do it.
Well, you know, I used to do again. Don't hate that. I mean, don't be a hater, haters.
Oh,
I mean, I love all kinds of music. I mean, you know, I probably wouldn't buy a ticket to Taylor Swift, forgetting. Well, I shouldn't even say that. Forgetting the fact that they're $15,000.
yeah, I wasn't even putting that. I probably wouldn't go.
But I was doing security for a couple major arenas in Ottawa, the Scotiabank Place and the outside football stadium, TD Place. And I was doing security, and I had the privilege of being able of doing concert security. And man, also did concert security for a major outside festival in Ottawa called Blues Fest, not blues, just the name. And we had people like Gaga. I did security for state security for Katy Perry. Not necessarily would I buy tickets for it, but
Right.
what a great show! What an amazing! I mean, the performance on stage, the the production, the whole production. I mean, they're putting on a show, and
It's Vegas. It's Vegas on the road.
Huh?
It's Vegas on the road.
Well, it totally is. I mean,
Yeah.
and you know what? We try to do that a little bit with Lucid Karma, with our stage performance, with our masks, with the personas. I've said this. I've said this in other conversations where a lot of bands are a lot of bands, and they don't necessarily have to have their makeup on or mask on, which a lot of do. Some don't. But when you listen to Lucid Karma on Spotify, it's awesome. But you're
Right.
only kind of hearing half of it. It's seeing it done in the mask and their personas and how they. You got to see that they are definitely a stage experience.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And
that last
maybe
video, like
I don't
I
know.
said,
Maybe you can maybe
that last video scared the hell out of me, bro.
that is a great video, and
So good.
I want to give props out to. I really want to give props out to Chris Heretic's partner, Danica.
Right.
She did the majority of the filming, and all the post production was done by her with help from Chris Heretic. But it definitely was her on the vanguard of that.
Wow.
And I mean, it is an amazing video. It truly.
It's incredible.
I mean, the other videos are very cool, but
Oh yeah.
it also shows a rawness of where they were at the beginning on as they progressed.
Oh,
And
their music has definitely grown for
100%
sure.
it has.
Right. And the production on it has grown for
And
sure.
wait till you hear the new tracks that are coming out. We
Right
just
on.
dropped Your Poison April 12th,
Yeah.
and I'm not at liberty to say when we're dropping the next one, but we've got two for sure coming relatively soon, and a third one probably once we get back. But they're all stage playable. They're all eventable. They're just
Right.
not ready for release yet.
So when they drop, let me know, and I'll just throw a when we do
For
band talk again, we'll throw it out that it's dropped.
You know what? Well, I'm gonna say one of the things that I've been really privileged to get to do, and I'm gonna do a little self promotion here. Um, I always wanted to be I always wanted to have a radio show.
Oh, I forgot to. My bad, dude. I'm so sorry.
No. This is just kind of
Oh, sorry. Trash can radio. And you had a huge get the other day. You had Kingsley from Unleash the Archers.
I did.
Juno award-winning Unleash the Archers. I had the privilege of having them for one of my shows 12 years ago. And
Really?
they blew the doors off. Yeah, Spectrum Middle School.
Oh shit! Okay,
Yeah, May long weekend when Punk meets Metal Fest.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it was dope. We had Aquila. I think Ninja Spy was there, but a bunch of bands. The Laundernauts right there.
Oh shit! There you go.
So yeah, it was a 3-day awesome show, and they absolutely slayed.
Oh,
you got an interview with Juno Award winner.
Yeah, no, I mean we've been talking beforehand, and I know Mike Selman. He used to be part of the Archers, in the early Archers, and so I was talking with him about about upcoming shows, and I had just actually bought my tickets for the Archers. They're coming here on the 25th of May, so next weekend. And as I was talking, I was like, well, Mike, maybe get a hold of Andrew for me, because I know we're friends, but we're not. So I didn't just want to go blab.
Yeah.
So anyway, it got hooked up, and Andrew, hell of a nice guy. Well, thank you for being on my show, sir. And it was a great talk. I don't know if you've heard my show. It is. I'll send you the replay. That show was amazing. And I will say, from back when I was just a kid, I was never the person that was going to be standing on a stage ever. I failed oral reports because I never wanted to stand in front of people. Next thing I knew, at 19 years old, I was a strip bar DJ at Monty's and the Fox and stuff. Don't ask me how. That's a different story for a different
time.
but I knowing after doing that, I wanted to do the radio. Everyone kind of told me if I had a nickel for every time somebody kind of said, "Wow, you have the voice," and
you do.
Well, and
you do.
I was in a really bad place back then that lasted quite a while.
Right.
And I went further and further away from being able to really do that because of a lot of reasons. So, a couple of last year and a bit ago, I changed my life and I changed my world. Those of you who know the story, know the story. But in my new world, I met somebody, and he told me he had a show up at CFUV, and I scam. It's something I always wanted to do. And he
Right.
went, "All right, let's go. I have a show in an hour. You're going to piggyback with me." So we went down, and thank you, Carson. Next thing I knew, I had to do the demo just to jump through the hoops. Thrash Can was born about a year and a half ago, and then I soloed, and then that was piggybacking him, and then Thrash Can really stood up about a year ago, and it's been amazing because it's been allowing me to not just live a dream that I want to do, but the amount of contacts that it has happened. Other podcasts, EWL out of Iowa, Robert Gargoyle, the Gargoyle. He has a great podcast. Hey, Robert. And so because of them, we share music, and I've been playing music and supporting the live music from, actually into Ireland, into Australia. People send me their stuff, and I'll give it airplay because one of the things. There's a lot of podcasts, a lot of online, which is great. But this is radio. This is FM, and it's a neat thing because you don't know who's listening. It's a
That's
great thing. It's out there, and I don't know. Is there a difference nowadays? Not really because I stream, but it's really allowed me to reach out and give a voice to our genre that does not get any radio play.
And you're getting guys radio play that never would get radio play.
No,
Like,
not
never.
at all. Now, I mean, this is radio play. Is there a difference between my radio show and your podcast or another podcast? It's still play. It's still getting out there. So support it anyway.
Yes.
Whether I'm and streaming or whether it's a podcast. The great thing is the privilege of being able to do it
Yep.
is to get the music out there.
Yes.
I mean, Spotify is great. You can tell people to listen, but if you put together a great playlist and you tell people they're going to be on, they'll get their friends to listen, and then you put your playlist out. And I'm the real deal where I'm not asking you for $50 to put you in rotation. You send me your stuff, I'll be playing you.
Right. And it's the old school, like when we remember when they used to have the metal and the punk, what were they? The Zines, I think they were. It was like the word of mouth, little tiny paper magazines. Because like we were listening to stuff that people were listening to stuff in California. We never bet. Nobody knows who this band is, but just word of mouth. And this is the word of mouth now.
This is the new one. No,
this is the new word of mouth.
This is the new underground for the underground.
Exactly.
And you said Taylor Swift. We don't have, even the Archers. Even the Archers, even Ginger, even Bad Omens, even Einstein Kills. There's no radio stations that play them. No. Now, I'm saying none. Somebody may say, well, there's one out of Tennessee. Okay, fine.
Right.
But as a general rule, there is no regular rotation unless you go to satellite radio.
Right.
And then you
choose Octane or you choose Nitro, and chances are those are signed bands too.
100%.
I mean, you got to go to the underground. So
this is something that needs to be chosen,
right?
And so to be able to help out, and somebody says, "Hey, Roll, check this out. Will you play it?" I'll play it. I'll play anything,
dude. I hope I help out enough a band, and I'm not kidding. This is a little self-indulgence here. I want to help out a band eventually who wins a Juno and says, "Thanks, Joe." I'm not even kidding you. Like, I would love for that to happen.
I hear you. And even if they don't say thanks, Royal, I'll be like,
I helped them out.
I helped them out. Hey, thanks, Royal goes a hell of a long way.
Oh, by the way, I did not help out Unleash the Archers. They were just kind enough to do the show
no.
because people asked me, like, I asked, who do you want? And they said, Unleash the Archers. I'll tell you.
I was starting to, as I was saying before, I was a big metalhead back when I was 11, 12, 13, 14. But I kind of drifted away from, because the metal for me kind of died.
Right.
My metal that I kind of grew up with got replaced by Metallica. which was
Yeah.
great. I mean, but that was the advent for the double bass and then the hard driving. And in my
I was
world,
hair metal.
drifted. I got more into the classic rock. I got more into the, really, I wasn't following that into the Pantera, the Sepultura, the Anthrax, into,
Right.
the late or later '80s and early '90s.
Yeah.
Then into the '90s, I was a classic rock DJ, and I was also a club DJ. So I really was. I hated beat mixing, but you'll pay me, I'll play it. Uh,
Right.
but I really wasn't following. I only know. You talk to me about Megadeth, I can tell you 3 songs. Are you really?
Yeah.
The Pantera, couple songs.
Yeah.
Um, I've really only since I started doing like working with the bands now, all these bands, Lucid Karma and the other
Right.
bands that I work with really have upped my IQ of metal, and then I've gone
Right.
off on my own. I mean, I just got back from Vegas 3 weeks ago, or yeah, 3 weeks ago for a Sick New World. I mean, and that was just an unbelievable experience. I'd never been to an 85,000 person concert. Uh,
Wow.
Slipknot, System of a Down, Ginger, Bad Omen, Ice Nine Kills, Alice in Chains. Slaughter
Yes.
to Prevail. Slaughter to Prevail. My God, they're one of my new favorites. Really hard.
Really? Because they're opening. They're opening for Five Finger Death Punch.
Slaughter to Prevail?
Yeah, it's Slaughter to Prevail, Maryland, and then Five Finger.
Oh, man, you're going to be in for a treat, dude.
Right on.
In for a treat. I mean,
I
the
can't wait
guy
for that
is
shit.
covered in tattoos. He looks evil as hell. He does
Right.
his growling. Then between songs, he has this big smile, and it's like, hello, nice to see you. It is the weirdest thing, but
Awesome.
great set, great energy. They had mentioned a band, Lucid had mentioned one of their influences was Motionless in White. Great show down there. I can totally get where they love that band.
Right.
They have this harshness to them, and they've got this atmosphere of emotion in their songs. That
Yeah.
literally, I saw people during certain songs crying during a metal song.
Really?
Dude, check out Motionless in White, dude.
Emotionless and white?
Motionless in White. They're
Motionless.
amazing. And a lot of some of these bands, and even now, these are some of your big touring festival bands. Ginger,
Right.
Tatiana is amazing. Kind of
I've
got a
heard
voice
Ginger.
crush on it.
Yeah.
But a lot of the bands that I work with, that I have been working with, the touring band or the local bands that are starting to pick up traction, like Arrow and the Quiver. These guys have made the finals for the Canadian round of the finals for the Vakken Festival.
I
Arrow and the
forgot.
Quiver, they are amazing.
I'm choked. I forgot to mention that Lucid was Band of the Month on Metalverse.
We were Band of the Month on Metalverse. Yeah.
I
So
totally forgot to mention that.
Thank you, everybody who voted for them for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say there's I really like the environment and the community that I've now been embraced in, and it's warmed the brotherhood of metal. I love to say a whole bunch of bands but I know I'd leave people out.
Right.
I really would. There's Blood of the Phoenix and Nataka and Outlast Crusade and Fall of Earth and Wolf Venom here and Cyborg.
No doubt, right?
But they have all contributed huge to my growth because I was a nobody promoter. I mean, who was Royal other than they knew me from my old days? And Royal's a nice guy, but I started doing this and I got support. And after my couple events, I got more support, and people were asking me could I get them a show? Could I do that? And the support, the validation, and the love that I've been given. I got to say thank you, everybody, because I was shitting kittens my first freaking event. I had no idea what a backline was. I'm trying to put together this event. I never put an event together. The biggest thing the things I was booking was strippers and putting together a 42 show lineup in a day with back-to-back boob busters. I mean, I could book dancers and strippers,
Right.
which is completely different than booking shows. I mean,
Right.
the Phoenix again. I keep talking about them, but that's one bar that is really supported. They don't do. They don't have a stage fee. Um,
Right.
they embraced. You know, they didn't know who I was, and I asked for a date. They gave me a date. Uh,
Nice.
and there's another individual I really want to give props to. He's really helped me out a lot. He's Ben Whitrock. He's in a band called Razor Voice out here. It's a pop punk. He's amazing. But he's also a sound man extraordinaire. I mean, this guy can make a paper bag sound great. You know what I
Really?
mean? I mean, the Phoenix is all wood. It was never made for music. He makes that place sound amazing.
I've
And
been there when it hasn't sounded well, but like that was a long time ago,
yeah, sure.
right?
You know, it's. I
Because
mean,
that's a hard place to make sound.
what it does, but he does.
Yeah.
He's professional. He does what he does. He does it well, and he's also given me a lot of sage advice.
Yeah.
You know, and I give a lot of props out to him. He's helped my growth, and all the bands helped my growth. Because I wouldn't have anything. There wouldn't be any Royalty Entertainment without the band. Because, well, I'd just be back to doing weddings, dances, bar mitzvahs, and funerals.
Right.
But no, it's been a great journey, I tell you, man. And you know,
It's good. And it's great that's awesome. And it's great to see that the all agers are still wanting to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like I seen a couple all ager shows posted for here. So there's
sure.
gotta be something there, right?
Well, I mean, there's a big thing. I kind of stole the mic before saying about the all ages, but you know, the under 19s they want to go out too.
Yeah.
Or Alberta is 18. Yes, Saskatchewan is that 18 in Saskatchewan? Or are they 19?
I have no idea. I think it's 19.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's 19. It's
But
pretty
I
liberal.
put on a couple of all ages, and Lucy's been invited to a couple. And there's definitely a different atmosphere. A lot of families come, a lot of kids. Um, Again, you know, when they come and they're wearing their metal gear with Lucid, they're wearing masks that they made at home.
That's awesome.
We put on the next to New Year's bash, and I don't know if it's the first one, but nobody can tell me there's been one recently. 250 black and silver balloons that fell at a certain point during Lucid's show, and they're moshing with the balloons.
Moshing with the balloons. Awesome.
It was great. And
awesome.
We had pizza sponsored by Hot House Pizza, and you know it was a family event for a New Year's Eve.
It was a metal show.
And it was a metal show with
yes.
support from Wolf Venom, the young band, 15 years old. They're called The Chain. Talented individuals. Wolf Venom. They're a hard, thrashy rock in your face, kind of grunge punk. Wolf Venom, and then Dead Rights, which is an amazing band. They're doing very well in Victoria. Dead Rights, people, check out Dead Rights. And all the bands I talked about, please go check them out.
Yeah.
But it was just a great night. I try to, as I said before, when I make events up, I do my best not to have the same genre. Because, you know, if you do all hard metal, all metalcore, it's great. But you kind of start losing a little bit because they don't all sound the same, but they kind of do.
But they kind of do.
But well, I mean, if you have four hard death metal bands,
if you have four hair metal bands and all, if you have four hair metal bands, it's going to be sounding the same by the end of the night.
Well, I mean, really, Cinderella, Warrington, Poison. You put them all on 3 in a row, you're basically interchangeable. Really,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like anything.
And
Put Taylor Swift, Lady Gaga, and Katy Perry together. By the end of the night, you're just like, who's saying what? Right? You have to change it.
Look at New Kids on the Backstreet or NSYNC on the Block.
Yeah, 98 degrees.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you can interchange them, and of course, I do like my Backstreet Boys. They're my jam.
And I was gonna say, you know what? I was gonna just tell you, I hated those bands when I was younger, but when you hear the song come on now, you can't help but smile.
Oh man, that used to be one of the songs. One of the guy, a buddy of mine, he passed away. Wayne but we used to party our asses off at his house, and at a certain time of night, it'd be couch karaoke, and you put a song on, and 20 grown, 30 grown men and women and people are just sitting there screaming "Paradise" by the Dashboard Light. We're singing "I Want It That Way." You're having a good time with the music.
That's
You
right.
may not have liked it back when it came out because maybe you were pigeonholing yourself or something, but
That for me, I can tell you exactly what band that is. I hated them. I loathed them because I was a hair metal guy. And yes, it had to die. I get it. I wasn't ready for it though. And Nirvana, I hated that guy. I hated that band. And it took me 20 years to sit down and actually listen to the band.
there you go.
And it was basically my kid,
Okay.
right? It was my kid who said, this is good, right? And yeah, he's pretty damn good, And it's like, I was just so angry. I just said, I'm not listening to you. Again, whatever. But there was a band, that was because there was a band coming up that I knew, and they were called Slick Toxic.
Yeah,
I'm
familiar with them, but I don't really know them.
They did White Lies, Black Truths, Marionette, and hell of a time. They were more Guns N' Roses than they were hair metal. Like they were a little bit to the bluesier grit,
Sure.
They weren't hairy. They were more Skid Row, Guns N' Roses, and they were so good. And then overnight, it was done. It was like every radio station on the planet said, anything that has long hair is in the garbage. Bring out the denim and the ripped shirt and the poor me guy. Right?
Oh, well, yeah,
overnight.
Grunge just took over. Yeah.
Yeah, just
piano sound was it. And I never really got. I mean, I got into the grunge a little bit, but I was a DJ. I was a strip bar DJ when the turn of the grunge kind of happened. So a lot of it was just playing all the top tracks.
Yeah.
And really, because I played music normally, like 8 hours a day, I generally wasn't listening to a lot of music when I went home.
Yep.
Or I was listening to like other stuff that I never played. Like I'm a huge Floyd fan. I mean Floyd and oh geez, Uriah. Just a lot of old weird stuff. And so some of the music I would have to play at the bar, I wouldn't listen to at home. So I'd be playing Jeremy, or I'd be playing Mother Love Bone, like Jeremy Program, or Mother Love Bone, or I'd be playing track 5 off of Use Your Illusion. Most of the
time, here comes the rooster.
Most of the time, I used to know most albums by the track. Oh, that's track 3, right?
This is going to be an abrupt ending, but I got a meeting that just popped up coming up. Hey, so I would like to say thank you very much, Royal. Check out Thrash Cam Radio.
CFUV 101.9 FM streaming.
There you go.
CFUV.ca. And it is Thursday nights at 9 Pacific.
There you go. And they can get that on the internet, right?
That's streaming live, CFUV.ca. I tell you what, I'll send you the logo, the link, and then you can.
I will throw it right on here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be cutting parts of this video, but I'm also going to put the full one on because this has been a hell of an interview, dude.
And if you want to do this once in a while, like
absolutely
podcast, I'm totally down. Let me know.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. That's Royal, everybody.
This has been a lot of fun, my friend.
Yes. It's been good to catch up too, buddy.
And and off air sometime, let's just shoot the shit.
Yeah, and if you guys come here, you're gonna have to come over for a barbecue or something.
I already told him that you offered up your couch in your backyard, so we're
Well, I got a whole garage here with air beds, so
there you go.
And it's heated too. Awesome, thanks, brother.
Take care, brother.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay, so we go here. Stop video. Or stop recording.